to play Green Thumb by Post Malone. I'm going to start with a very simple strumming pattern and show you how to play the chord progression for the verses and the chorus. And then I'll show you kind of like the accenting that he does live. And then I'll also show you what is on the album when he does the... Let's first start with the chord progression, because once you have those chords down, showing you the little accents and what's on the album is going to be much simpler. So the chord progression for the verses, it starts on a G chord, but we're going to make sure to add our ring finger to the 3rd fret of that B string. And the strumming pattern for this is just going to be down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Then going from that G, we'll play this kind of like a G13 type of chord. All of your fingers, except for your middle finger, can come off, and then your index finger is going to come down here on the 2nd fret of that bottom E string. And what I'm doing is I'm muting the A string with this middle finger, so my middle finger is touching that A string to mute it. Then we're going to play an A minor 7 chord. So that's going to be 2 on the D string and then 1 on the B string, and you strum from the A string down. Then we're going to move to a D7 chord. So our index finger can stay exactly where it's at, coming from that A minor 7. Our middle finger will come down to the 2nd fret of the G, and then our ring finger is going to hold that 2nd fret of the bottom E string. So let's put that first part of the chord progression together. Then for the second part of that verse chord progression, let me show you what it sounds like and then I'll break it down for you. What we're doing there is we're playing a C minor bar chord. So going from the A string down, it's going to be 3, 5, 5, 4, and then 3 on that bottom E string. Then we're going to take the same exact shape up to the 5th fret, but we're going to play a D7 bar chord here. So to do that, we'll let go of our middle finger, and our pinky is just going to let go of the G string, and it's going to come down to the 7th fret of the B string. Going from that C minor bar chord to the D7 bar chord. Then we're going to play this F major 7 bar chord here, so it's going to be 3 on the A, 3 on the D, 2 on the G, and then 1 on the B string. And we're going to be lifting off and on our middle finger on that 2nd fret of the G string, right? So it's first going to be on, then we're going to take it off, then we're going to strum it one more time with it off, but we'll hammer it back on to the 2nd fret, right? So on, off, and hammer. And then going from there, we're gonna play a C chord. And for the C chord, you could just let go of your pinky, and then your middle finger is gonna come off of that G on the 2nd fret, and it's gonna come up to the 2nd fret of the D string, and you can also hammer it on. So that whole kind of ending sequence here would be... So now putting the full chord progression for the verses together, it'll sound like this. So you'll play that chord progression 2 times, and then at the end of the 2nd time, you'll just kind of do like this little pre-chorus type of thing where it basically just plays this twice. You'll play it one more time. And then it goes into the chorus here, and the chorus is really cool because Post Malone does this little walk down with an A type of chord. So let me show you what he does and then I'll break it down for you. So we're playing a normal A chord right here, but we're gonna hold it with our middle finger on the second fret of the D, and then, second fret of the G and second fret of the B. And then our index finger is gonna go on the first fret of the G string, because eventually what we'll do is we'll pull off this ring finger, right? So ring finger on, remove ring finger, and now remove the index finger. Right, again, on, remove the ring finger, remove index finger. All right, and then that little part right there is we're just giving them each one strum, so it's one strum on the second fret with the D and the B string, and then we just move that same shape up to the third fret, same exact strings, and then we move it up one more time to the fifth fret. So 5 on the D and 5 on the B. All right, so again, kind of that whole little walk down and walk up thing together, it would sound like this. Now from there we go into a D chord, but we're gonna start with a D sus. So hold your normal D shape with 2 on the G, 3 on the B, 2 on that bottom E string. Put your pinky on the third fret of that E string to begin with, because we'll eventually pull it off. So it's gonna be all right, so on, off. From there, it goes into a D minor chord. So that's 2 on G, 3 on the B, and 1 on the bottom E. And then we're gonna play this modified C chord here. So our ring finger can stay exactly where it's at. Our middle finger is gonna come up to that third on the A, and then our index finger comes up to the second on the D. Okay, so let's put that whole thing together and hear what it sounds like. And then from there, it repeats that same chorus progression, but then after you go to that little C, that modified C chord, that's when it then switches back into the verse. So, going from the D, we'll go. And then back into the verse here. So moving on to kind of more of like the intricate details here, I'll first show you what he does when he's playing it live. And then I'll also show you what he does when he's playing it on the album, the little... First, what he does live. So it's all the same exact chords, it's just that he's accenting whatever happening on the E and the B string. So for example, when he hits the G, right? He's just hitting the G, strumming down, and then he's strumming up on the E and up on the B, right? He does the same exact thing for the G13, right? E and B. Same thing for the A. And then it does switch up a little bit here on that D7 chord. Right, he plays the D7 chord and then he does kind of like this hammer on with his pinky and pulls off. Right? So putting those 4 together. right, and now it's the same thing on that C minor bar chord. Just that E and B. Right? And it does switch up a little bit for this D7 chord. So he strums the D7 chord, and then he brings his pinky down to the 8th fret of the E string, and then he slides it to the 7 on the E string. Right, so again. And then going to that F, it's the same exact thing that I taught you in the strumming pattern. And then on to the C. All right, so the whole thing together using those little intricate details. So now for the finger picking that you hear on the actual album. Still all of the same chords, but we're gonna be adding these little walk ups and walk downs on the bottom E string. So it's still that G. So we'll finger pick the E, G, B, and E string all at the same time, and then we'll pluck the G string one more time, so. All right, and then we're gonna move up to the 5th fret of the E string, and then up to the 7th fret of the E string. And then same exact shape as we're used to. And again, same pattern here. Pluck those 4 strings, hit the G string, and then it's gonna be, all right, so this time it's gonna be 3 and 5. Then when we move to that A7, we're gonna pluck the A7 all at the same time, and then on the bottom E string, it's gonna go from the 2 to the 3, so. And then he just does 1 strum on that D7. So putting all of that together, it would sound like this. And then what he does on the album for that C minor bar chord and the D7 here is the same exact thing that he does live. So he plucks the C bar chord, and then he does the E and then B. And then he goes to that D7, he plucks it, and then he goes 8, and then 7 on the E. And then again, same exact thing for that F, and then the C.